Hey, my name is Dr. Cheryl Meyer, and I am a psychologist. Let's see where the sun is. And an intuition pioneer because I follow my intuition and I teach other people how to follow their intuition. So I'm not your regular psychologist, that's for sure. And I was out hiking and listening to the Lord of the Rings, and I just got my intuition was saying to make a video, and I thought I was on a break. So I'm glad to make one for you. That means, there's something important that is meant to be said to you. And so today we're talking about inner vision. That's just what I was getting just now. I think that's what we're talking about, which is a kind of intuition, and it's a kind of knowing. So I was on a Zoom call today with someone that teaches about this as well. And he was saying that, always make a good thumbnail. But he was saying that intuition is information. So it's information. Your mind, your logical mind can't make sense of the information. All right, so, the view is so beautiful over here too. Let's see if we get the mountains. It's just a gorgeous day. I don't like this thing in my ear. All right, I'll check it out. All right, so it's information. Your mind likes concepts and, 2 + 2 = 4. When you get a knowing, like I got about this video today, cool. Like I got about making this today for you. It's still information, but your mind doesn't know how to make sense of it. It doesn't know how to make sense of the sun rays except to quantify them and measure them and study them in a microscope, if you could do that, and science. Here, did you see the ocean? And so there are different kinds of knowing that we can get. And if you don't train yourself, then you only can, a lot of us will just trust the one, and your mind, because that's the collective consciousness that we live in, tells you to do that. And it doesn't teach you how to trust your inner knowing. I go like this, your higher mind. And in fact, like I'm part Native American and part a lot of other stuff. But one of the theories is that they killed off the Native Americans and lots of different, like the Aborigines in Australia, and put people in reservations and tried to cut them off from their intuition. Because people that are connected to their intuition, your inner knowing, we're divergent. We don't follow the normal path, and that threatens the people that want lots of money and get their worth from just being stuck in their mind and their egotism, and they want power and money and obedience. And so a lot of the mystics even in the church were either almost killed or killed at different times. There are groups within churches that protect the mystics as well, that teach people to value them and to value people like St. Francis of Assisi, who just gave up all worldly wealth, because he was just sick of it. He was tired of it. He saw people just being greedy and feeding and feeding and feeding. And so in the last video I made, I was talking about someone had said, to the extent that you are a slave to your appetites, that's the extent you'll walk over somebody else to feed your appetites. And it's really sobering. But if you think about it, there's a guy named Eckhart Tolle. I love him. I have a class. Let me tell you real quick for a second. I loved what I read in The Power of Now so much that I created a year-long class. But even if you take that class, I have a 3-month option. Even if you take it for 3 months, it will totally transform your life. I know it will. I know it will, because it's transformed mine, and I know from the feedback that I've gotten how much it's transformed other people's lives. So I'm always going to encourage you to go deeper in this. Don't just rely on these YouTube videos. I put everything I can in these YouTube videos, but my classes are just, they go deeper, and you have interaction with me personally in a group class. But the other thing you can do also is subscribe or follow me wherever you're watching this, and share this with other people. I'd really appreciate it, because I want these teachings to be able to reach other people. And I guess they say it happens when you ask people. So I'm asking you now to do that, not because I need it to, but because I want other people to get this teaching. So that's enough about that. But I'd really appreciate if you do your part, because I'm giving these. This is my free energy, and that's some energy back towards me. I'd really appreciate that. It's stepping up. I appreciate it. So what I was going to say about Eckhart Tolle and the power of now is he has said that the addiction we have now is we're addicted to our mind. Here, I'll get the sun on me a little bit. We're addicted to our thoughts. We're addicted to trying to prove ourselves. We're addicted to running from our anxieties and our fears. You know, why do you think, like, I have kids, but one of my kids was like, well, yeah, I want to make a lot of money so that I can gamble. I'm like, what do you need to gamble for? You know, why would you want to waste your money on gambling? Oh, well, I'd only, because we know someone that only does it, like they go once a week to gamble, like a friend of our family's, or less or whatever. But he's like, I'd only go that much. I'm like, well, a lot of people say they're only going to go a certain amount, and then they end up, you know, just getting sucked into that, and they start getting a high. That's what it is. It's like drinking. And I smoked a cigarette when I was in Turkey a couple years ago, and I'm like, wow, now I know why people do this, you know, because I felt just so chill. And I don't mean to trigger anyone that's trying to quit, you know, but I understood. But for me, just how I was is I don't want to get addicted to anything. I don't want anything to, I don't want to give my money, my resources, my time to something that I'm going to need that thing in order to calm me down. That's just how I am from other experiences in my life, you know? And so, but addicted to mind is a whole nother game here. And people can be addicted to spirituality and to pretending, and they don't even realize they're pretending. They're trying so hard to be spiritual that, you know, they're running after an image of what they think spirituality is. And they're running after an idea of what someone tells them in their specific religion, what a religious person looks like in this group, you know, and so they run after that, but they don't have a real transformation. They don't open up their connection with the divine. They don't, oh, look at that shadow. It's so cool. I don't know. It's so cool. I often roller skate, and I love like just watching the shadow sometimes, you know. We learn so much from our shadow side, you know, from letting go of judgment, and looking at what our shadow side is telling us. That was one of the things that was coming up on my way here. Now I bring up, let's see. I'll do the sign language for the letter, so I'll remember to bring up about pain. But I was bringing up about addictions because addictions keep us from opening our intuition. They keep us from hearing our inner knowing. They're just loud. They're loud. Just like if we can't ever be alone and we always have to be with people, or, you know, FOMO, you know, we're fear of missing out, or we think YOLO, we only live once, so we're just trying to live it up but we never have stillness or quiet, then your egotism loves that, because it loves trying to be in control, and it loves either saying you're doing a good job or you're doing a bad job, or let's find a problem to ruminate about and worry about. It just loves being busy. And so that's how our society operates. And it's so strange, because there will be other people in certain positions that will they just want to manipulate, because they like selling stuff and they like making money and they like power and whatever else. And so, like I was saying, they love to shut down your intuition because they don't understand it, for one. And, you know, they're just out for their own interests, and they may even think they're doing good, but then they tell you, like, this person's the enemy, let's all hate this person, or this group of people, or these people do that, so let's hate them, and these people do that. And they just keep you busy in this back and forth ping pong. And you can step back and be the observer. And just the only way to do that with media and with everything else, you know, so that people, oh, it's just 11:11, so that people don't just come up to you and tell you what to think, and you just agree with them, then agree with the loudest voice. You have to learn, if you want this to change. I'm not saying you have to change, you know, but if you want to know your intuition, and if you want to be free of all of this, then it's important that you practice what you know, the whole manifestation thing. It's like what you practice inside is how you operate outside. And so if you learn how to be the noticer of your thoughts and not get sucked into your thoughts and not give yourself over to addictions, because just like, you know, you'll step over anybody to get that addiction. If that addiction has control over you, you'll step over yourself. You step right on your own face. You step on your own best friends, you know. You hurt people that really love you, because you have gotten to this place where you kept giving power to your addiction because you thought your addictions always promise the world and leave you with nothing. That's a lyric from one of my songs. You know, that's what they do. That's the nature of them. That's why, like, getting connected to the one, like to God, if you want to call it God, or divine love, like, always frees you. It's if it's not something that's actually freeing you from these addictions and getting you more in touch with this beautiful inner mind that you have, this intuition, then check if it's really of God, or if it's just your programming from childhood and someone saying this is what God is like, you know. What was I going to say, though, is the word P is pain. Pain is an indicator that something needs to be attended to. So thank God we have suffering. Like, I was suffering about something the other day. And, you know, I mean, one, I fell and I shook my head. So I had a mild concussion from roller skating. So I'm taking a little bit of a break while my head goes, you know, the swelling goes down. But it's like, if I don't listen to what happened, I can feel it in my body. I noticed all these symptoms because I'm used to noticing. And then a couple days later, I looked online and I'm like, oh yeah, those were all the symptoms I was having, you know. And it said to do all these things, and I had already done them, like take antioxidants, and take omegas and blah blah blah, and I was like eating all these blueberries and getting salmon and stuff like that. So your intuition, as you learn to stop going and running away from the quiet because we're afraid of what we'll find underneath, you know, you'll just find more of you. It's really beautiful. But as we let go of our addictions and get into the stillness, you learn how to trust your own inner knowing more and more. And then you're not dependent on all these other things to give you worth. And you're not addicted to trying to please other people, because you have a higher experience of what life is. It's so beautiful. It's like the sun shining behind me. It's like the ocean. It's so expansive and beautiful. I highly recommend it. All right. That was all for now, is learning how to develop your inner vision. There's a Stevie Wonder album that's called Inner Vision. All right. I wish you much love.